Chicago Cubs. News today.
Cubs fan, something interesting just happened involving the team, and it deserves a closer look. We're always talking about the big names, right? Alex Bregman arriving with that massive career behind him, Michael Busch established, Nico Hoerner being the heart of the team. But what if I told you that the two players who could define the 2026 Cubs season aren't any of those names? That's right. We're talking about two young guys, relatively unknown to the general public, who have everything it takes to be the X factor that turns Chicago's offense into a nightmare for league pitchers. Comment below. Did you follow Matt Shaw or Moises Ballesteros closely last season? Which of the two do you believe in more? The logic behind this analysis isn't new in baseball. Sometimes, the player who decides a playoff series isn't the all-star, but rather the one at the bottom of the batting order who simply doesn't miss. The example cited is perfect. Ernie Clement of the Toronto Blue Jays. While Springer, Bichette, and Guerrero Jr. were in the spotlight, it was Clement who led the team in batting average in the playoffs with .411 and an OPS near .978, a player few expected, delivering at the most important moment. The Cubs have two similar profiles in Matt Shaw and Moises Ballesteros, two youngsters who have already shown flashes of what they're capable of, and who in 2026 will have much greater opportunities than they had before. Let's start with Matt Shaw. The arrival of Alex Bregman pushed Shaw off third base, his natural position. This could have been a tough blow for a young player still establishing himself in the league. But what happened was different. Shaw didn't just accept the challenge, he started learning the outfield. And when you look at the numbers from the second half of 2025, it's clear that something clicked for him with the bat. His batting average rose from 200 to 258. His OBP went from 276 to 317. His slugging exploded from 280 to an impressive 522. This jump in slugging is the stat that stands out most. It's not a marginal adjustment. It's a player finding his power. Shaw learned how to attack major league pitchers, gained confidence, and the results followed. With a more flexible role in 2026, playing wherever the team needs him, he could surprise a lot of people. Now, Moises Ballesteros. The 22-year-old Venezuelan entered the radar when he was called up in 2025 and didn't waste a single opportunity. In just 20 games, he showed a level of consistency that few rookies display. A batting average near 300, a slugging percentage of 474, an OBP near 400, and the context of 2026 heavily favors him. With Kyle Tucker leaving the team, Seiya Suzuki moves to the outfield, and the designated hitter spot opens up. Ballesteros has never played the field, so this position is perfect for him. More time at the plate, more development, more results. Those of you who have followed the team for years know how common this story is in Chicago. We always expect the hero to come from the big contracts, from the names the media pushes, and then, out of nowhere, a guy you barely know shows up and decides the game. That's the kind of thing that makes baseball special. And what I want you to think about is this. Are you paying attention to these two players, or are you only keeping an eye on Bregman and Hoerner? Because if the Cubs go far in 2026, the chances of Shaw or Ballesteros having clutch games along the way are very real. It's worth starting to follow them closely now, starting with spring training, to understand how these guys have evolved. In my view, the more exciting case of the two is Moises Ballesteros. I say this because his position is clear, his role is defined, and the numbers he put up in just 20 games are absurd for someone his age. An OBP near 400 at 22 years old, in a league that eats young players alive, says a lot about this athlete's level of maturity. Shaw excites me because of his resilience. Losing your position to an all-star could have destroyed the rhythm of any young player. but he responded with the best numbers of his career in the second half. That is character, and character shows up in September when things get serious. I believe that if the Cubs make the playoffs, at least one of these two will have a moment that the fans will remember for years. You can bet on it. So, fans, keep an eye out. The 2026 Cubs season might be defined by the big stars, yes. But it could also be defined by a 22-year-old named Moises, or by a third baseman who became a utility man and found his place in the world. Baseball is full of stories like that, and Chicago might be about to write another one. Leave it in the comments. Would you bet on Shaw or Ballesteros as the biggest surprise for the Cubs in 2026? Tell me your opinion. Let's discuss it here in the community. And if you want to support the channel, the Buy Me a Coffee link is in the description.